What's going on, YouTube? My name's David, and as promised, I am back again with my second Lego UCS set that I got for the holidays. And this one is actually so big that I'm not sure I can put it in my lap. But proudly presenting, wow, this is actually really big. This is the Venator, the Venator-Class Republic attack cruiser, very famous from the prequel trilogy, and I've always wanted this to be a UCS set, so I guess you could say this is probably one of my most anticipated sets of all time. I'm surprised it even came out, to be honest. I'm surprised Lego was willing to make it. This thing is absolutely massive. It's by far the biggest set I think I've ever seen, besides maybe the Hogwarts castle. That one's pretty freaking huge too, but I think this comes in just over 5,000 pieces. It retails for, I think, $650 is what I got it for pre-tax, which, in terms of, price per piece count, it's not exactly the 10-cent ratio that you want. I mean, none of the Lego sets really these days are. However, I will say that I'm sure these pieces are a little bigger. And again, this box is absolutely massive. I have another set that I'll review soon that has more pieces in this, but the box is a lot smaller and it feels a lot lighter too. So I just have this feeling that you get exactly what you pay for in this set. Again, $650. I was totally willing to pay that for this really badass set. Aside from the Imperial Star Destroyer itself, I don't know what battleship is even more iconic. So really excited to get into this build. I'll go ahead and do a little unboxing, see what the contents of the box are, and I'll get back to you guys after that, and then we'll do a final build review and everything after that. So, all right, stay tuned. All right, everybody. So a little bit of a unexpected feature when I opened the main box is that it actually comes with two smaller boxes inside. This being the first one, and then I have the second one over there. I'll go ahead and go over the contents of the first one first. So as you can see, the box itself, I'm not a big box art guy, and obviously the box over there, the Venator box itself doesn't have too much box art, but this is super nice, and I'm really glad they did this. Again, not a huge box art guy, but I really appreciate things like this. So yeah, this is a pretty huge box. I mean, this in and of itself could be its own Lego set, but you got another picture right here. You got Venator, I think that's Invisible Hand, Jedi Starfighter, whatever. There are quite a few ships on here, so that is really awesome. I'm genuinely such a huge fan of this art. And again, I'll take a look at the second one later. But in terms of the content itself in the box, here you have 23 numbered bags. I checked the other box. There's going to be another, I think 25 in that one for a total of 48. You have 2 instruction manuals per box, so it's 4 total. You get the sticker sheet. There's 6 really huge stickers on here. So not a lot of stickers, but they are very big, which I know a common complaint a lot of people have is that, big stickers, are not great, especially on crucial aspects like the Republic crest right there. I mean, it's not the greatest thing. I wish Lego printed them on, but, what can you do? So, yeah, it looks like these, pieces are for the first half of the ship. And then you also have these 2 kind of auxiliary bags here, probably for the engine parts. These look absolutely massive, so really looking forward to that. And you also have the nameplate here, which is nicely printed on. Again, I'm a huge fan of the printed nameplates, so you don't have to put them on with a sticker. I love that change that Lego made. But yeah, that's just the contents of the first box. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and build the first half, and then I'll go ahead and, take a look at the second box and what's in there. All right, everybody. So just completed the first half of this build. This is what it currently looks like. So basically, the majority of the first half was building kind of the central frame. So you can see all those Technic pieces and stuff. Again, just building the main frame of the Venator. building the stand. The stand looks like it's actually screwed on, so I don't think it's something you can take off. It's just kind of attached, which is a really interesting design choice. I guess it adds to the stability, but it might take away from, some play features. So just, pivoting over to here, taking a look at some of the details on here. Really, really nice looking. You got the tail end right there. Obviously, again, not fully finished yet, but it looks like this bridge section, I guess, is. So you can kind of see, this bridge section here, which looks really, really nice. This is one of my favorite things to build. I mean, this entire build in general so far, I won't speak too soon, but so far it's been extremely, extremely fun. I mean, I had a great time putting together the entire frame. The bridge has been fun to build. The wings, pretty fun to build too. But a little bit monotone, but again, just like in general, a very fun build. Techniques they use to secure everything here are just fascinating. I think it really adds to stability. This seems like a really, really stable model to me so far. I mean, these wings are on tight. There's a couple different methods of securing them, which is really, really awesome. Again, I'll talk about more of that, the full build stability in the final video, but just a general overlook, really, really fun build so far. So this is what you get from the first 23 bags, which is the first box. So now taking a look at the second box. Again, we have this similar box art situation going on here. So beautiful Venator top view box art. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. Got that there. And then you have, again, some more box art here. So, a couple of Venators there, going into combat or doing whatever they're doing. Really, really awesome. Love the artwork on this. And as for the contents of the box itself, again, you have another one of these white envelopes. You got the 2 instruction manuals. This time it's instruction manuals 3 and 4. And then you have, I think, a total of 25 numbered bags, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the first one had 23. The second set has a total of 25, which makes this a grand total of 48 bags for the entire build. Again, just absolutely massive. This so the first part of the build so far, it's taken me roughly 8.5 hours. So if we were doing some extrapolation, I'm guessing the full build is probably going to take me roughly 16, 17 hours. It really depends on how challenging these parts are. Again, there's a lot of challenging technique that was done in the first half. So, that might have been kind of the bulk of it. The rest of it might just be, the wing pieces and stuff. But so we'll see. We'll see. It might be a little easier than anticipated, but again, just a very long build process. It makes sense. It's a huge set. It's a very iconic set. So, of course, they're going to make this thing absolutely massive. So, yeah, just concepts of the second box, very similar to the first. And I'll catch you guys back when I have the full build done and we can do a full review. All right, everyone. Welcome back. 12 hours later, I'm finally done with the second box of this build, which means I'm done with the build in its entirety. It took a lot longer than I expected. I mean, like I said, the first half took about 8.5 hours. But the second half, I think there's more bags, but not only is there more bags, there's just a lot more kind of finer details and a little bit harder pieces to build. So that's probably why it took so long. But yeah, I have it all in front of me now. It's hard to tell in video, but this thing is absolutely massive. I mean, if you were to see it in person, it's actually amazing, the scale of this thing. For reference, I think this table is about 60 something inches or so, and the Venator takes up most of that. So it's actually ridiculously big, has a huge, presence kind of aura to it. And just for I think for scale, I mean, look at this minifigure versus the Venator, and look at this little Republic gunship. I think this is supposed to be a mini Republic gunship. That's just for scale. So that's how big a Republic gunship would be, in comparison to the Venator. So really, really, really crazy there. And before going into the actual ship itself, I think it's worthy to just take a look at the nameplate and the minifigures that come with the set. So not a very minifigure heavy set, which I don't really mind. I mean, I buy UCS sets for display. A lot of people are really sticklers on the minifigures. I don't really care as much. But starting from the left over here, going all the way to the right, you know, you got a Captain Rex. I think this is an exclusive minifigure. I'm not entirely sure, so don't quote me on that. But it comes, you know, with actually comes with a visor piece as well if you want to swap that out. They gave me a bunch of like different visor pieces. But anyway, like, you know, just looks really cool there. But I chose to have the antenna attachment there. He's dual wielding guns, as Captain Rex does in the Clone Wars show. You got Admiral Yularen there. I don't know if that's exclusive figure, but you know, certainly a nice one. Looks really clean. You have the nameplate there, so Venator-Class Star Destroyer. You got, you know, all that information, manufacturer affiliation, length, whatever. And then you have a 20th anniversary Clone Wars, you know, little brick right there, just to commemorate that. So pretty cool there. And now taking a look at the actual build itself, aesthetically, it just looks very, very pleasing. Like I mentioned earlier, this thing is absolutely massive, super commanding. And not only that, I love the striking color scheme. So just taking a look at the color scheme itself, it's super, super nice. I mean, I love the light gray, you know, that's obviously the kind of the main color of the Venator, but it also mixes in these dark gray sections, you know, sporadically. And I love that. It's just very, very nice color scheme. I love the red. It's a very dark red, almost like bordering on kind of maroon. You have these like light translucent blue pieces there, which are really, really cool. And you got the dark gray engines back here, almost like a metallic looking pieces, which are really, really cool. And yeah, the light blue hue on those engines as well. Just super, super nice. I love the mix of those like kind of four colors. And you have like a little bit of yellow here on the Republic crest as well. Now, aesthetically, the problem that I have with this set are really the stickers. So the stickers, to me, are a very like sore standout. So you can see that the light gray here, it's a very nice color. But the light gray here is like all messed up. You know, it looks like a more, like, I don't even know what you would call it. It's like discolored gray almost. And you have to use the stickers on these. And I find that to be really annoying. That's probably one of the worst parts of the set. Luckily, there's not too many criticisms that I have with the set. So, you know, this is one of the only few like major sticklers I have. So I wish we had printed pieces instead of these stickers. They're also just a pain to put on. I mean, every time I put one on, I thought I was going to get a heart attack because, you know, if you mess it up, you got to peel it off and do it all over again. So that's not really appealing to me. And now taking a look at kind of the more like finer details, and you got these like turret cannons here. You got 4 on each side. Really super nice. Again, you have those engines, big engines back there. You have a lot of kind of a mix. Like they did a lot of studded parts back here, but when you get closer to the front, there's a lot more pieces that are tiled off. I like that. I don't really mind. A lot of people would prefer to have it all kind of tiled off, but again, I don't mind, and I think it looks really nice and cool. Taking a look at kind of like the greebling here, just the details, you know, the plumbing that they have and whatever, like whatnot. Over here, you got some guns here. This is all really, really nice. I love the way they did this. Again, they have this kind of like port right here where you can like launch ships out of there and whatever. I just love the details on this. And if we go to the other side, again, some very, very similar detailing work there. Yeah, you can see that port looks a little bit different. So, you know, it gives a little bit of contrast compared to the other side. But again, kind of the same deal going on. So really, really nice detailing. I'm a huge fan. One of the things that apparently has gotten some people in a little bit of a fuss is this bridge area right here. So a lot of people have been complaining that this is not the standard variant of color. I think the standard variant is supposed to be a gray. However, they use a red bridge on this. A lot of people, again, are really sticklers for that. I like it. And I've heard one of the explanations about this from, I think it's from Solid Brick Studios. So shout out to Dave, another Dave. He explained that this color is actually used within the Clone Wars show to indicate a generalship. So if you're a Jedi general, you'd be flying in one of these flagship Venators as opposed to a normal Venator. I really like that detail. And, you know, again, if you want to swap it out, you can swap it out. It's a pretty easy swap, you know, just swap it out for gray colors. and then you have yourself a standard Venator. However, I like the fact that this is kind of a Jedi Venator. Now, I wish it came with a Jedi minifigure if that was the case, but again, like I don't really mind, and I think this looks really, really cool. It makes it stand out a lot more. I'm a big fan of color. You know, I don't really like just pure gray sets, so the more color you can add, the better, and I'm a big fan of that. So yeah, looking up to here, kind of the final section to talk about is, again, just a bridge. Really, really nice here. You know, just, I love the detailing on it. It looks really, really smooth. And yeah, just a super, super great looking build aesthetically. Huge fan, like pretty much from every angle you look at. I mean, this thing is absolutely beautiful. Again, with the exception of these stickers, you know, you got these 2 stickers back here, and you got these 4 stickers. Again, just not a big fan. I wish they just printed them on. So now that we've kind of gone over the general aesthetic of the Venator and all the features that it has to offer, I think I'd like to talk a little bit just about the general build process. So as an overall kind of review, this was a real pleasure to build. I mean, overall, I'd give the build process probably a 9 out of 10. Again, with 10 being like the most fun I've ever had building a set. It was just extremely fun to build pretty much every aspect of this, with the exception of one, which I'll get into in a second. But absolutely huge fan of the build process. In terms of difficulty, I'd probably give it about, I would say, maybe a 7 out of 10. It's really hard for me to judge this kind of objectively, because I'm pretty skilled at building Lego sets now. But just in terms of like the time it took, and again, it took over 20 hours to build this entire thing. And there were definitely some parts that were a little bit harder to do, especially when it came to like attaching the stuff and all the technical details. Again, there was a little bit of confusion there. But again, not like super hard. I don't want to make it sound like it was a super hard build or anything. I guess for a normal person, I'd say it's probably a 7. For me, everything is like easier than a 5 for sure. But yeah, overall, like a 7 out of 10. Just a really fun build process. So now just to talk about, you know, kind of the individual components of the build. So as you kind of saw in the intermission between part 1 and 2, part 1 mostly focused on the technic part of everything. I thought that was a really fun build process. Absolutely love that. And then also part 1, you do the stand, and then you also do a little bit of the underside of this wing, the underside of the back wing. So that was really fun as well. In part 2, you start doing a little bit more of the kind of aesthetic stuff. So you did a lot of this detailing here. That was all really fun to build. Definitely like really fun. You also do the top sides of all the wings here. So you do these 2 top sides. These were extremely fun to build. I mean, absolutely love that. You build this big red stripe down the middle. Love that part too. You did these sections right here. The bridge is in part 1. Again, I love doing the bridge section, so cannot talk about how much I love that and just how nice it looks. Love that. You do the top sides of the wings here, or the back side of the back of the wings here. Really big fan of these too. These are really fun. You know, again, there are some small details that I wasn't a huge fan of, but these are all like nitpicks. So, you know, just talking about general stuff, really fun to build all of that. This back section, again, really fun to build. The one part that I really kind of didn't like building, surprisingly enough, was the engines. I thought they were really repetitive. I thought they were actually really hard to build, probably the hardest part of the build, just because if you mess up something, and there's a lot of room to mess up, I was like, hella surprised, like, you could actually mess these up. So, not a big fan of the engine builds here. These 2 parts were like kind of fine, but these big ones, yeah, not a huge fan. And attaching them was also really annoying, because of one factor, which is engine sag. And that kind of leads me to my bigger point of the, I guess, the Venator's stability as a whole. It actually is an extremely stable model. I mean, you can pick this thing up. It does not fall apart. One thing I love about this so much is some of the building techniques, specifically the way you attach everything onto the main frame. Perfect. Like, I mean, absolutely perfect. These things are not going to come off. They're extremely stable. They usually have at least 3 to 4 kind of points where it's connected to the frame. So it does not come off easy. I mean, if you do need to take it off, you can. It's not like it's on there forever. However, they are on there pretty sturdy, I would say. So, you know, in general, these things are on tight. It's a very stable build. The one exception is this. These are really flimsy, and the engines sag over time. A lot of people warned me when I was putting this together, like, oh, you got to make sure you put these engines on tight so that, so that they don't sag. And I did. I really paid attention to that advice. And there's still a little bit of a sag. It's really hard to tell in the video. It looks a little worse in person, but there's a slight decline angle to it. I hate that. I wish that was not the case. Now, I don't know if LEGO could have done anything better to secure these on, but that is one of the biggest flaws of the build, like kind of structurally. Again, aesthetically, I have some issues with the stickers, and this is probably the one issue that I have with the build. So again, everything here is almost like a nitpick. The only real major flaws I have with this set are the engine sag and the stickers. Everything else pretty much is perfect. I mean, I absolutely love the way they did this build process. It was such a pleasure to build everything. Just so much fun. And it took a long time. It's a nice long build process, so be patient, put on some nice music or a podcast and just put the Legos on together. It's such a relaxing process for me to do. But you get so much out of this set. And yeah, I had a really good time. If I had to do an overall rating of the Venator, just as a whole, including everything like stability, build process, aesthetics, minifigures, pretty much everything, I would give it a 9.5 out of 10. If you want to round that up, you can round it up to a 10. I would say it's a perfect set, but it's pretty darn close to perfect. I just love the fact that we have a UCS Venator. I love the fact that it looks this nice. And yeah, I'm just so glad to have this in my collection. It's going to look really nice on display on my shelf. I mean, thing's absolutely massive, just looks so amazing. And yeah, LEGO did a great job with this. I'm a huge fan, coming as a big prequels fan as well. So let me know what you guys think of the Venator. Let me know, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. If you like the video, please drop me a like. That helps me a lot. Subscribe to my channel as well if you want to see more LEGO Star Wars content. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. I got one more UCS set left to go, so stay tuned for that. And I'm sure there will be more LEGO Star Wars content to go after that. All right, thank you, everybody.